I'm going to attempt my first time making this slip from Keanes Ceramics. Is their mid-fire Lumina, I keep saying it wrong, Lumina casting powder. I haven't made this before from scratch, like adding all the Dispex and sodium silicate and all that kind of stuff. Usually I make it already pre-made, easy, but this is a lot cheaper. It's 25 kilo bag for like maybe 50 bucks cheaper. I used to make a lot of my own slip when I was at uni, just stoneware slip at uni, just because I had all the ingredients there. So again, didn't have to pay for those things. But I'm going to have a attempt. I also make slip from blocks of clay. So when I was doing porcelain with Southern Ice slip, that's a long process. I'm going to have a go at this because I know it is a lot more tedious, and to get it right and the measurements right. But I did thoroughly enjoy doing that because you just get the, you know, you start to understand how much effort actually goes into making this stuff and how much just time goes into it to get it right. So I want to get it right. So then it's just like, yes. And then I think you're more delicate with it and you're more precious with it, and you don't waste any. The little bit of drops wasting on the edges of your bucket, you want to kind of use that because you spend so much time making it from scratch. So got everything here, got my bucket, got my bag of powder there, got my Dispex sodium silicate, one of these syringes to take out of that. And also if you go on Keanes Ceramics website, you can print out their little PDF handout of step-by-step of how to make the slip. Step 1, 10 kilos of clean water into the mixing bucket. And so it starts. 10. Next step. Turn on mixer and add 40 grams of sodium silicate to the water. Turn off mixer when done. 40 grams of sodium silicate into the water and mix. All right. Now, sodium silicate in Dispex is poisonous, so make sure you don't get your fingers in there too much. Make sure I get all those 40 grams. Need my mixer. Give it a good mix. Alright, step 2, add half of the 25 kilo powder to the water and allow to stake for approximately 10 minutes. Oh, slake, steak. I was like, why steak? Slake. I'm assuming that means sit. Okay, half of it. Safety first, when there's any form of powder, always make sure you wear a mask. You don't want that getting into your lungs. While I let that slake for 10 minutes, I'm just going to get my Dispex ready. So I've just put in 200 grams of water. Never put Dispex in directly. That in sodium silicate, you want to dilute it in water and pour it in. So I've got my little measuring thing here. I'm going to put it on and then number that out. And we want some Dispex, and we want 40 grams so far, and we'll go from there, seeing how much Dispex we need to add in later. Yes, 40 on the dot. Slowly add that while we're mixing with our electric mixer after the 10 minutes is up. It's sat there for 10 minutes just soaking. Now I'm going to mix it with the electric mixer, slowly adding the Dispex while I'm mixing at the same time. Okay. Add the remainder of the powder and mix for 1 hour or more until homogeneous. That's an interesting use of the word. What does that mean? Same as? I don't think I've actually ever said, am I saying it right? Homogeneous. Wonder how Australians say it. Interesting word. All right, pretty much just mix. Instead of using fancy words like that. Rest of the powder. All right, let's go. Oh, mask on. All right, mix. Let's go. This is what it's looking like. Sorry, I had to take my mask off so far. So a bit powdery. You can see the water coming through. I'm just going to keep mixing. See how we go. So we can get in a nice thickness. I've been mixing for about 10 minutes now, and this is what it's looking like. So yeah, it's turning into a slip form, just a bit chunky, and I'll have to clean the edges of the bucket to make sure I've got all of it. Yeah, it's getting there. I need to mix for about an hour, it says. Let's go. Been at it for about an hour, and it's looking good. It's looking like slip. I'm just going to weigh it now to make sure that it's at the right measurement. So what we want to do, if you can see, check the density. It should be under 1,750 grams per litre. If it is higher, add water. Desirable density is subjective to and will vary according to the work being made. So I'm going to weigh it out and see how we go. I've got my scales and an extra bucket here, which adds up to 2 litres, but now I've got a 1 litre bucket. The density seems a bit thick to me, but it's feeling good. Haven't sieved it yet. I'll do that a bit later. All right. Oh, just under a litre. Oh. So we're just sitting under that number. It's at 1,000. It's at 1 kilo 744. Running like honey. Let's see. All right, so yeah, that's kind of what we want. Thickness is probably still a bit too thick. All right, I'm going to weigh it again and go from there. I might have to add some more Dispex. Oh, I'm just on my last little bit out of the big bucket. So I've sieved it all into this 20 litre bucket. So it's all nice and clean. There's no air bubbles. It just helps get all those chunky bits that you might have missed. And also just gives it a bit of more fluff, I would say, to it. A smoother kind of fluidity that you need for your slip. Always sieve your slip, really important. Really, really important. The other thing that making your own slip, you want to try to get as much as you can out of the bucket so you're not getting any wastage from your slip, but I can guarantee you will. Really hard to kind of get all those, so you might maybe miss a couple of couple of hundred could be, depending. And it's also very messy. Also making your own slip, going to different buckets, cleaning it all. I'm using a toilet brush for my sieve. I find this really, really good with my sieve because it's quite thick, it doesn't go all the way through, so using the brush to go all the way around to push that slip through the mesh really helps. Heaps of little bristles to push it down, made it a lot quicker. So that took me just under an hour to do it all. I know it's very, very painful, but if you want to make your own slip, and it's a lot cheaper as well, and you just need to be patient. It's one thing I find, to be patient, and it could take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, depending on what time you have as well, if you want to take the time in doing it. So I've done all that. Now I'm going to clean everything up. So now I've sieved it, and I've also measured out the weight of the slip. I am going to put in the description of what I've added, because I have added a little bit more Dispex and water. So I'll put in the description there of my step-by-step of what I've done. And now it's time to test out the slip. So I've got two little examples here. I've got my pyramid molds, which I really want to make. And then I've got another mold here, just a little, what do you call it? A little lid from a teapot. So I'm going to see how they stick, how they go, something. So this is kind of straight wall. This is more with curves. So I'm going to see how the slip sits on both of them.